Hey, folks, welcome to the first in what I think is part 7 of my playthrough series of Conan Exiles. From where I cut out to where I am now has only been just a minute or two. Um, I ran down into Seppermaru, and one of the first crafters I run across is Mutt of Stygia, a bladesmith, blacksmith. Edgesmith, my bad. So I, bring up the orb, bring up the bindings, and we'll start by getting, I don't know, what, 300 yards from where my crafting station is. My very first crafter after I got Inigo in this, where I'm going to run around and try to get, I would say I need about 4 to fill up the space that I have available on the horse. I thought Mutt was a 2 orb, but apparently he gets knocked out pretty easily. So I'm fine with that. And you see, I'm just going to run back out through these gates um, and put Mutt on the wheel of recruitment and get him going. Get his training started, as it were. Now, again, this is being recorded as a voiceover over a terrible audio because I had mic issues from everything I recorded yesterday. So you're not even hearing any of the sounds in the background. This one did pick up the voice a little bit when I tweaked some of the settings, but to be able to get it up to the point where you could actually hear my voice, all of the background music and everything would be insanely loud. So what I've done is I've just reduced all of the background music, all of the sound effects and so on. This video that's playing right now, basically, you know, there's, and I just lost my train of thought. But anyway, this video is playing right now. The sound is muted on it, so you're not going to hear any of that noise, so that I can successfully get this voiceover. I have something else I'm doing here. Looks like this segment is about 4.5 minutes long, so I'm trying to think of what it is that I'm going to do. It's going to take a while for Mutt to convert, so I'm not really sure what I have planned. I'm not going to run right back into the city. At least I don't think I am. But maybe I'm going to go after the rhinos again. Certainly wouldn't hurt to have some more hide here. But I'm talking about something. Not really sure what I'm talking about. I might be describing why there's a difference between an edgesmith, a bladesmith, and a tempersmith. Certain crafters, there are 3 different types of the crafter you can get. There are 3 different types of tier 4 blacksmiths, 3 different types of tier 4 armorers, also taskmasters. I know what I'm doing. This is the point where I'm explaining why I really do have a problem with this aspect of the game. Not enough to stop playing the game or stop using this aspect of it, but it always makes me feel a little icky that to successfully play through this game, you pretty much have to engage in, and I think I'm enough minutes in that this isn't going to be a problem if I say it, and this won't be demonetized, but you essentially have to engage in slavery. And there's no other way to put it. They call them thralls, but that's just the Old English or Norse term for a slave. You knock them out, you bind them by their ankles, you drag them and put them on, essentially a torture device, and to break them, to convert them into people that will work for you for no recompense. There's no other way to describe it. And every time I engage in it, I feel kind of icky. There is something that the game will require me to do later on to advance into the upper stages of sorcery that I won't do. And I'll get to that when we get to that point. And I'll fully admit, you'll see it, I use a cheat. I will absolutely cheat at that point to be able to get past that. And that's a line in the sand for me, but apparently this isn't, which makes me feel a little bit bad. Um, but yeah, that I'm pretty sure that's what I was talking about at this point. I was explaining why this aspect of the game is one of the most problematic. Um, One of the other ones, and it didn't bother me so much when I grabbed the foal to turn the foal into an adult horse, but if you get, uh, if you create an animal pen to be able to make pets, you have to grab the babies and you raise them as essentially, considering you, I guess, their parent, you raise them into adults that are friendly and will fight for you and carry stuff for you and so on. That also makes me feel kind of ooh, you know, that you have to you know steal babies from their parents to get pets that can work for you, and you have to knock people out and put them on a torture device to get workers to work for you. Uh, yeah, very late stage capitalism here, but yeah, obviously not a game breaker for me. There's so many other things I like about playing this game that I obviously just let that slide, but it still makes me feel pretty icky every time I do it. So I'm going to take a break here because obviously I need Mutt to get a little bit further along on um, his conversion uh, before I go after anybody else. Otherwise, I can leave them on a binding and the binding will just start slowly wearing down. Um, but there's no point in wasting it. All right, folks, welcome back. Sorry I didn't give a proper outro on that last segment. Kind of caught me off guard. I stopped at this point because I want to show you something here. I did climb up on this when I did my first run through of Sephiroth to show you where chests are. But this is one of the first steps you need to do for sorcery, or it's one of the easiest ways to complete one of those first steps. I need to find and defeat a sorcerer. And there is a sorcerer right at the top of this ledge. So I've changed over to the Sorcerer Journey. And I'm going to climb up here, hoping he's not too high level. It's a tier 4. I'm screwed. I'm not going to attack. There's no spell page. It's a tier 3. Tier 3 will be a little challenging, but nothing particularly dangerous. Once I attack, depending upon where the sorcerer winds up moving around, I might catch the aggro of some of those people, those alchemists down there, and there's a guard right over there. But they don't come up, they don't climb, and so they lose their aggro very quickly, if I catch it at all. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and attack this guy using the light, heavy, and the last heavy is a shield smash. There we go. And you see he's pretty tough. My stamina is up high enough that I can actually get a couple of shots in afterwards before I let it completely rebuild. I think I'm going to let him take another shot and then do it again. Light, heavy for a shield smash. And didn't quite bring him all the way down. Like just slightly, and there he goes. All right, so now I have ticked off that journey step to find and defeat a sorcerer. I'm going to pick up the stuff that the sorcerer has, or some of it. I'm not going to grab any of those things to make a golem. They weigh a ton. But I'm going to get the feline pelt and the Skelos cultist sandals. When I dismantle that, it will give me raw ash, which I can use to make the actual armor that the sorcerer is wearing. Which is good because it actually gives you agility weapon bonuses. Very good to use for archers when you get to the point where you're using archers for like a purge base. I'm going to go ahead and skin him, get that hide. And that's pretty much it here. I'm not going to climb up and get that the treasure chest up there at the top of this particular building. And I'm not really sure what I'm showing you here, why I'm continuing to do this. Oh, I guess I'm going to show you when you open this up, what the next stage is. So I need to find the Sorcerer's Cave. This has given me a spell page and this bunch of notes and this dead Sorcerer's map. Every time you open up one of those satchels, it gives you a dead Sorcerer's map, which is a real waste. But it shows you where the Sorcerer's Cave is. It's up on the river, which I haven't gone up yet at all, but it's a real easy path to get to. You have to kill some hyenas, and that's about it. I'm not going to do that until I've got an entertainer, and I might bring the entertainer with me instead of Mandugai, depending on which entertainer I get, because the entertainers are pretty tough and they're pretty good fighters themselves. But having the entertainer with me will allow me to, as I gain corruption in that cave, where I'll gain a lot of corruption, the entertainer will just wash it away. But on that note, I think I'm pretty much wrapping this up. And I will see you in the next segment of this particular video. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at, but anyway, see you in a bit. Bye-bye. All right, folks, welcome back. And the reason I brought you back this quickly is I was right over there when I killed the sorcerer. And this island here, right here behind Conan's Tavern, which is right up there, is the only place in the game where you can find this particular tier 4 crafter, a cook named the Lone Fisherman. Now, the Lone Fisherman won't always spawn at this spot. It could be another cook. It could be a tier 1 cook. It could be, I think, a lamplighter, which is, I'm pretty sure, from a mod, which allows you to turn on and off all the lamps on your base, or the lights in your base. And they are based on the cook, so that's why they fill in some of the cook slots. But always check this spot because it's one of the easiest places to get a tier 4 cook. I don't have a stove. I haven't learned the chef journey yet, and I don't think I can for another couple of levels. But better to have one when I've got the one right here anyway. And the Lone Fisherman can be male or female. This one happens to be female, so we'll go after this one. Because I'm so far away from anybody that might actually become aggressive as I'm fighting the fisherman, which sounds a little weird, fisherwoman, anyway, fisher person, I decided to use the truncheon instead of wasting an orb. And the fisherman is not becoming aggressive for some reason. The fisherman isn't attacking me back, but also, as you can see, has really, really high consciousness level. It takes a lot to knock the fisherman out. But since the fisherman isn't attacking me back, I'm going to take a break here because I don't want the fisherman to get knocked out and slide down into the water. Because the sides of this island is pretty steep, but actually they would slide down underwater. But that's it. Let's put the fisherman on the bindings. And I'm just going to go ahead and swim right over to that particular spot, or I can get out of here real easily. Actually, I'll make a note here too, which I don't think I said. If you notice, that fighter right there is wearing some sort of a bra-like top. The game allows you to have no nudity, which is what I've set it for right now, which is the only thing you really can set for YouTube uses. Partial nudity, in which case that person would have been topless, or full nudity. You can play through here where your character or NPCs that you capture, crafters, fighters, whatever, are completely nude. If you have it set to full nudity, the NPCs, when you first see them, will never be actually fully nude. For some reason, they will always be just, at the most, topless. But, again, that's not going to happen here because this is a video for YouTube. And YouTube don't like it when you do that. So we have the server setting at no nudity. The official servers are no nudity, and if you make a co-op server, oh, you can see Mutt is still working here. And I did this so I could show, oh, Mutt was all done. All right. So I pulled Mutt off, put the Lone Fisherman on, start the Lone Fisherman converting, and I'm over encumbered because, people weigh a lot. So I'm going to go over here to Horse, and again, I will give Horse a name, and put Mutt into the inventory. Looks like I've got 5 spaces, but I think I'm also going to put that brick in there. I am starting to collect hardened brick. As I think I mentioned once before, you don't actually need to make hardened brick when you get to that stage of construction journey. I mean, you'll have to make one once, I guess, but you get so much hardened brick in Sepper Maru in the chest that there's no point in bothering making it. Anyway, I am going to take a break while Lone Fisherman converts, learns all the stuff, and I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, welcome back. It's been just about a minute or so since I actually put Lone Fisherman on the wheel of recruitment. I came back here and I want to show you, this is absolutely wild. This happens very, very rarely. But there's always Alchemists in this particular spot. I think I've mentioned that before. And we've got a tier 1 there. And lo and behold, we have Iblis of Zingara, the named tier 4 Alchemist, and Iblis of Zingara, the named tier 4 Alchemist. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. That's really cool. So I guess I get to choose which one I want to take in a while, because obviously Mud is still working. I think they are both exactly the same, look and body style and face. So I think it's just a matter of the hair. And I'm not a huge fan of the shaved side head with a mohawk, so I think I'm going to go with, basic, sadly, very basic long-haired Iblis here. But it's just so surprising for me. I had to show you this before I actually start the process of capturing Iblis. And I will, of course, be using an orb. With all of these people around here, I would get swarmed and killed in a second. But anyway, quick bit. I just wanted to show you this, and I'll see you. All right, folks, welcome back to this last segment in the part 7 of my playthrough of Conan Exiles. And I wanted to show you that I have found up here on this plateau, Luba the Luscious, a tier 4 entertainer. One of the 2 that you can find in Sepper Maru. The easiest way to get up here is if you go through that gateway, which is the one where Gilzan, the treasure hunter, is. You can climb up, as long as you don't go too far down in the direction that I was just showing you. It's where prowlers are out there. You can climb up this area, or that gateway over there is the one that's right across from the front of Conan's bar, and you can climb up the wall right here real easily. Up here you'll discover there's always 2 entertainers right there, and then a 3rd one wandering around. Behind the building where that 3rd entertainer is walking to are 2 guards. You can see I've got a lot of stuff I picked up in the chest. I'm over encumbered. My bar up there, my encumbrance bar is at 105%. I'm going to get rid of these hardened bricks to reduce that encumbrance. And now I'm down to 93, so that should work. That way it won't take me forever to drag Luba back to my base for the conversion on the recruitment station, as we call it. Now I'm going to bring out, I'm going to screw things up here. I brought up my orbs, then I brought out my skinning knife because I had not put the bindings back in the proper slot in my hotbar. Now I bring up the bindings, and I think I've got the orb, so I go to throw it, and I wind up punching. Luckily, I wasn't close enough. If I had hit Luba, that would have triggered her aggression, and everybody on this little plateau here would have come after me, and I probably would have died pretty quickly. Certainly, depending on what level the fighters, the guards are on the other side of that building. Luckily, that didn't happen, so Luba here is going to go down in 2 orbs. She has pretty good resistance to losing her consciousness. Now, the reason I want Luba, as I've mentioned before, the reason I want an entertainer is you will gain corruption, or I will gain corruption pretty quickly once I start doing the next step in the Sorcerer Journey. And I'll gain corruption pretty much anywhere I go where that's a feature, where sorcery is a big part of the area. The Tier 4 entertainers are actually also pretty decent fighters. They're not great, but they're just about as good as Mandugai is. And so I will be taking Luba with me when I go to explore that Sorcerer's Cave that I discovered on the Dead Sorcerers map. And that way, as I gain corruption, it'll be washed away pretty much exactly as soon as I get it. It'll disappear. All right, so I've got her on the binding. I'm going to come over here. A couple things. If I slid down this wall, I would actually lose, because I need both hands, I would lose my grip on her. If I jump down there, and I think if I took damage, I would also, depending on how much damage I take, I would also lose my grip on her. She would become unattached to the binding. And as I get up here, I remember this when I did this original audio. I was really surprised that I wasn't getting any aggro from the scorpions. And it wasn't until I got up a little bit further here that I realized why. And, full disclosure, this was me considering the possibility of a cheat. I had turned on my creative mode, and in creative mode you don't draw aggro, you aren't you don't have any of the bad effects of being overly encumbered, and so I thought about maybe doing that and being able to keep all of that hardened brick with me when I drag Luba back, and then I realized that's a cheat. I don't want to show that, so I went ahead and threw away the brick and forgot to turn off the creative mode. See, I'm in creative mode, so I just turned it off. So mea culpa, that was my bad. But I've got Luba on the wheel right now, and at this point, I'm not exactly sure why I didn't just jump out. I think this is the point in the video where I was actually explaining why having an entertainer before you start doing any of the sorcery steps beyond that first one is a good thing. And I guess I'm checking Horse here, and yes, I will give Horse a name, to see. I do have one more space, so that's cool. So I do have the space that I need to be able to put Luba on the horse and bring all of them back to my base, which is going to be my next step, which I haven't done yet. So we're getting pretty far along here in the video, and I'm going to call this yet another video, part 8. I'll be back at the base and have my various crafters all set up and get ready to do that sorcery stage. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you liked it a lot and you like our other stuff, please subscribe to Nerd Caliber. If you didn't like it, give it that thumbs down and give us the engagement, even though we're not going to see it, so we don't really care. Have fun, stay safe, and bye-bye.